The draft is only a month away now at this point, and as free agency starts to kind of wrap up here, the exciting parts of it, I should say, we start diving into what are the team's biggest needs after this free agent period, and who are they going to be targeting in the draft. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. I'm your host for today's episode, Robert Garcia, going over NFL team needs post free agency and going division by division here. Going to breaking it down between the four of us on the channel, myself, the real Alex Givens, both coaches, defense, and Mike. And for myself today, we are going to be going over the NFC and the AFC South. So a lot of excitement here. We're going to be starting off with the AFC South, and I know a lot of you guys are looking at that Titans team right there, having the number 1 overall pick, and we will delve into them. Don't you worry. So getting right into it, biggest need right off the bat. We're going to start with the Texans, of course, playoff team, AFC South winners of last year. Pretty self-explanatory what the Texans need. It's really all about that offensive line and that wide receiver help. Obviously, talking about that offensive line first, Stroud has just been absolutely demolished behind his offensive line these past 2 years he's been in the league. It's like David Carr flashbacks all over again. Although, man, if you guys didn't ever see that, do yourselves a favor and look up David Carr highlights. Man, that poor SOB had no chance in this league with that line in front of him. But I digress. If the Texans don't want to repeat that same mistake, you have to address this offensive line. Larry Tunsil obviously just got shipped out to the Commanders, so I really have no idea what the Texans are doing. He was their stalwart piece, and you just, I don't know, you just made the playoffs. You just won your division, and you're selling? You're getting rid of the one position you really need? I don't know. And then obviously interior defensive line, you have those amazing edge rushers and Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. So give them some help up in the middle. Need to shore up that run defense. I think they were bottom 10 of the league last year. So there's just a lot that they need to address on that on those trenches, to say the least. Definitely. And this is the draft to do it. Defensive line, that is, or for the interior defensive line, that is. Look for them to be targeting somebody like Kenneth Grant, in those later rounds out of Michigan. Stalwart D tackle, solid note. I mean, it's just somebody that they truly need there to plug up some of those holes. Going over now to the second place team of the AFC North, of the AFC South, and that's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Colts kind of in a weird, I don't even know what is going on. A lot of people think they should put quarterback here on biggest roster needs. I'm not there yet. I think you got to give Anthony Richardson a little bit more time. Now, granted, him basically taking himself out of the game because he was tired, man, that's a huge red flag. But you spent a top 5 pick on him, or a first round pick on him. Like, you need to, you can't already be moving off of him. So assuming that you're keeping him, give him some more help, give him some more weapons. Tight end, wide receiver are the biggest needs on this team. I mean, they have, it's what's the running back's name? Jonathan Taylor. And that's kind of it. They have a solid-ish O-line, although they lost a couple of guys in free agency this year, Ryan Kelly being one of them, their center. So they definitely, as that's on here as well, need to address that interior offensive line. The Colts have usually always been pretty good about developing O-lines and putting solid O-lines out there. I think there was a couple years in there where that wasn't really the case. But for the most part, the Colts have been very solid at building O-lines in this league. So I look at them to do that as well in this upcoming draft. But yeah, definitely got to be giving Anthony Richardson some more weapons, man. I mean, I think Michael Pittman's great and all. I mean, I shouldn't say great. Michael Pittman's good. He's a good wide receiver. He's not a true number one in my opinion. We saw him have some kind of flashes there, and a lot of that could be because of AR, but I don't know. I just think they need to give him some more help on that, on some more weapons on the outside. Moving over now to the Jaguars, who are third in this division. Defense is really the big the big focus here, as you can see. All three biggest need of positions is all on the defensive side: cornerback, interior defensive line, safety. This defense was absolutely atrocious last year. I think they were bottom 3 in passing defense. So they just got to do something on that side of the ball. You already got Brian Thomas Jr. To pair with Trevor Lawrence, Tank Bigsby in the backfield, a solid-ish O-line. Yeah, man, just you need to address that defense. The defense is really what held this team back. I mean, there's a lot of things that held this team back, but defense was the biggest outlier of that. Assuming you believe in Trevor Lawrence and you think that he's going to be able to figure it out, you really got to get this defense going. But we'll see what happens with that. I mean, a lot of people are speculating that the Jags are going to try to take obviously if Travis Hunter fell to the Jags, that would be the most absolute perfect pick for them. I just don't see him falling to them. I think Abdul Carter might be somebody. I know he's not a need in terms of what I've listed here, but he just might be a talent that you just can't pass up on, and you need defense. So really any defensive choices here would be solid for the Jags. Travis Hunter obviously being the home run pick, because you get another weapon for T-Law and you address your biggest need post free agency. And now getting to the one that I'm sure all of you are excited for, it is the Tennessee Titans. And I mean, shocker, the biggest need is a quarterback. Who saw it coming? I mean, guys, come on. It's not hard at this point. We saw what the Titans trotted out last year in Will Levis. Yeah, no, thank you. You need Cam Ward. Let's be honest. It's going to be Cam Ward at 1. That's what all the speculation is right now. So if it's not Cam Ward at 1 and you go Abdul Carter and you just say, screw it, we're entering full rebuild. We'll, run it back with a journeyman QB or career backup, whatever it is. And we're just going to get best talent. Give me Abdul Carter. Cause I mean, like I said, he is another big need for you guys, especially after losing Jarrell Casey in free agency this year. So yeah, I definitely think quarterback, obviously, let's be real. If you need a quarterback, take a quarterback. Now, we'll see what happens. They might be able to get a bounty of picks for that first overall pick, so we'll see. And wide receiver, not a huge need. I mean, obviously, address the quarterback position first, but they did lose Westbrook-Akine in the offseason this year. He was their leading touchdown receiver last year, so definitely something that needs to be addressed there. Now, moving on to the NFC South side of it, and a little bit more exciting, as these teams are a lot more up and coming with the Falcons and Panthers having young QBs. Obviously, Buccaneers pretty much been the owners of that division since Brady was there, and now through to what Baker Mayfield is here. And the Saints, we'll get into them. Saints are a nightmare right now. But starting off with the division winners, of course, again, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Biggest need for them, same thing with the Jags. It's all defense here. You have your offense figured out. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, re-signed Chris Godwin. Bucky Irving looks to be the steal of the draft last year. So you got some pieces on that offensive line. Pretty much they got everybody back that they needed to on offense. So it's full send on the defense here. I mean, I'm a huge Baker fan. I think the Browns were stupid to let him go, and they are reaping those consequences now. But huge Baker fan. I think this Bucs team, especially in this weak division, they're always a threat to make the postseason and host a playoff game. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do. Look for them to pretty much use 90% of their picks on defense. Moving on now to the second place team in this division, the Atlanta Falcons. Biggest need for them is center, and it's really sad because they had a great one in Drew Dahlman, and they lost him in free agency to the Bears. Fantastic pickup from the Bears, by the way. So you definitely need to replace him at center, and I don't know if there's really going to be able to do that early in this draft. It might be a project pick in the later rounds that you need to draft and develop, but we'll see how they address it there. Cornerback is another huge need for them. just haven't had that kind of shutdown corner in a while. Honestly, since what was his name? Desmond Trufant. That was the guy's name. Yes, ever since they had Desmond Trufant, I mean, they really haven't had that lockdown corner. So yeah, definitely the biggest need for them to address this draft, or besides center, obviously, and edge rusher. Lost Calais Campbell this offseason. He's always just a beast there, the ageless wonder at the end. But like we said, this is a great defensive heavy draft, more interior D line, but you could definitely get a great solid pick in that first round at edge rusher. So we'll see how the Falcons go about it. Very interested to see. I love making these videos because you try to look at it in a very neutral way. I try to look at these teams in a very neutral way, especially because none of these teams, I mean, maybe the Texans a little bit, kind of a little salty about that playoff game, but for the most part, none of these teams I really have any like real grudges against. Not that would stop me from other teams, but I digress. It's just very interesting to see how I would, address it versus how it's actually going to go, because we all thought last year the Falcons were going to go any position other than quarterback, and they went quarterback. Now it may pay off because Kirk Cousins looked like an absolute dumpster fire of a free agent signing. I don't know why he's still on the roster. Whatever. Again, this is what I'm talking about. There's logic behind some of these choices, and then all logic goes out the window on draft day. So I'm very excited to see which teams kind of will follow my little chart here. Or we're just going to go completely, I'm going to look back on this and say, I don't know anything about football. But moving on now to the Panthers, which is crazy to say. They weren't even the worst team in this division, or actually they were the worst team in this division. Just now realizing that. But yeah, I mean, the Panthers, it's tough, man. They had a rough start to last year, but boy, did it really ended on a high note, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of promise in this team. I think Bryce Young saved his career with the back half of that season. Definitely owes whoever hit Andy Dalton a beer or something. That's messed up. He doesn't actually, but I mean, it's just crazy. Like these storylines that happen. Somebody who was basically everybody was on the come to the consensus of this guy's a terrible bust. Like the Panthers screw the pooch on this one. CJ Stroud goes a pick later, and it's like you gave a fortune to draft Bryce Young, and he hasn't given you nearly what CJ Stroud has. Granted, the situations are much different, but still, I mean, the Texans were a dumpster fire franchise before CJ Stroud got there, and he turned it around like that. Granted, again, they have DeMeco Ryans, a great head coach, but I think Dave Canales is a good enough offensive mind, and he showed it last year to get Bryce moving. Bryce really has no weapons. It was a 30-year-old Adam Thielen, and he got hurt. Jalen Coker looks to be really nice. I like his game. Kind of like a 50-50 ball possession guy, but we've seen him kind of, break seams a little bit. So I like him a lot. Definitely need to get him some more help. Obviously, wide receiver being the second choice here. But the biggest one is definitely center. That offensive line was atrocious for Bryce Young last year, and it was the big reason why he struggled so much to start that year. Chuba Hubbard is a godsend for that team. So if you could get him some more running lanes, that would just boost Bryce Young's stock even further. I mean, he needs to run the Alabama offense. You need to put speed around him, a running back that can break it up the hole and just, take it to the distance. Hubbard can absolutely do that. He can break tackles. I mean, you need to basically give him what Tua had what they tried to give Tua in Miami. Amazing offensive line, bona fide speed track wide receivers that can just play yak. I mean, Bryce Young has definitely more potential than Tua. He's got a way stronger arm. I mean, I think it's a little bit, you can give him a little bit more credit than that. But you just got to try to make it as easy on him as possible. He showed a lot last year. Reward some of that good play with maybe a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, something like that. And obviously at the bottom there, edge rusher. I said this, and this is just going against everything that I said about getting a center or a wide receiver. Abdul Carter, if teams are truly scared about that injury, which I don't think they are. Again, this is a huge, just like shot in the dark, maybe, hopefully, kind of little thing I'm rooting for. If Abdul Carter falls to the Panthers at 7, pairing him with Derek Brown, Derek Brown was injured all of last year, basically. So he wasn't even there. That team, getting those two guys, oh my God. In this division, where Tampa Bay needs an edge rusher, the Saints need an edge rusher, but the Falcons, I mean, everybody on this team and their top 3 needs need an edge rusher, and you have you pick before all these other teams. If you can get the best one out of that, man, I don't know. The Panthers, again, the chances of Abdul Carter falling to the Panthers are slim to none. But if it somehow happened, or maybe he falls to like 5 or something and they trade up, I'm just saying, man, it's exciting. These little things, these little scenarios in my mind, I kind of want to see come to fruition. But anyways, moving on now to the final team of the NFC South. We are going with the Saints. And the Saints, man, it just seems like the Saints have been in cap hell for like the last 5 years. It seems they've just been like in this constant state of, we can compete. No, you can't. Just admit it, accept it. You have Derek Carr as your QB. The entire roster was injured last year. You're like 50 mil over the cap or something. It's just rough, to say the least, if you're a Saints fan. But getting into it, first biggest need obviously is edge rusher. You could put quarterback here, realistically. I know, some people believe in Derek Carr, but the Saints are in no position to be drafting a young QB right now because he would just absolutely get annihilated. So Derek Carr, to kind of get you through this rough rebuild stage, is definitely the quarterback to rock with, but definitely need an edge rusher. Obviously had Chase Young drafted a couple years ago, traded for Chase Young, signed him to the big extension, but he's not as good as how high he was drafted. I'll just say that. So definitely get him a blue chip, great edge rusher to pair with him. They definitely could use a cornerback. Obviously, they shipped off Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders, much to the happiness of Coach Mike. So, yeah, definitely need to replace him at some point. And the interior offensive line, like I said, don't have any thoughts about drafting a quarterback right now until you address that offensive line. Get him a center, get him a couple guards, a tackle maybe. Whoever that may be in the future, definitely don't want him to come into this current situation that you guys have. But with that being said, that is going to round us off for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Please leave in the comments below who you think, if you're a fan of any of these teams, what you think your team's biggest needs are. Or maybe you're just a rival of some of these other teams and you just want to talk a little bit of shit in the chat. But either way, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure to check out everybody on their socials. Here's the gang and their socials. And, of course, check out the Lockdown Defense Sports Network on all social media platforms. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have an amazing day or night wherever you are. And I will see you in the next one.